Hi, welcome to the first Q&A of Friendship Test. I don't know if I'll ever make more, but let's start with the first one. I have a couple of questions. Firstly, I absolutely adore the variety in designs for the machines. What were your inspirations for them? Also, if any were particularly challenging or if you had particular favorites, which ones? Okay, so overall, the programs, the idea was that all of them had to have really different designs, but specifically the tech programs and the test programs, because they are the programs that show up the most, and I wanted them to have very unique designs. And yeah, it was difficult for specifically those two types of programs to find different designs. There are some repetitions. You will see that there are a couple of programs that are twins or are siblings or are related, and they look kind of similar to each other. But originally, originally I was going to have a lot of programs that look kind of similar, but I thought that that would be lazy, so I had to design a lot of different designs, and it wasn't easy, and it took me a lot of days to come up with different designs until I found ones that I enjoyed and I thought that looked good and I thought that they looked distinct enough. In general, they are all like original designs, although maybe there are a couple that you can see that they're inspiration from other characters. The one that comes to my mind first is there is a tech program that looks a lot like Fawful from the Mario and Luigi games. It wasn't my intention when I started designing that character, but the more I design, it's like, oh, this just looks like Fawful. But like, yeah, overall, like there wasn't any character in particular that was like, I want this character to look like this character. All the designs just kind of happen. And when it comes to my particular favorites, I'm going to talk more about like personality later on of my favorite NPCs. But design wise, I think my favorite program design is the evil scientist tech program. I really really like that design, and their friend too. I really like those two. I feel like those two could be protagonists of their own story. I like those two a lot. I will like also mention them again because I just really like those two NPCs. Secondly, was there a particular inspiration for the setting? What was the moment when you decided you wanted to write a story about aspect-based robots? Because it's such a fun idea. Well, thank you, first of all. There's a lot of Undertale inspiration. Like, you find yourself in this mysterious place and you walk around this whole world. Like, that's obviously Undertale. That's just, you fall down and you travel the underground. Like, that's really obviously Undertale inspired. But you can also tell that there is some Portal inspiration. I really like Portal, and I've always wanted to do some sort of like laboratory kind of story. And the first inspiration that has always come with laboratories is Portal. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Portal good enough. Like in Spanish, it's just Portal. Portal. Well, that's another one of the inspirations. Also, I mentioned this on Tumblr. It's really funny. Okay, it's really funny. I wouldn't say it's directly inspiration. It just kind of gave me the idea. But when I played the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's like this like high tech train, and there is these different rooms, and they have to like solve something before going to the next room, and it gave me the idea of what if there was a story like a laboratory, and each room you have to do something, and everything is high tech, and you can't escape this place until you do blah 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 blah. And that's the first like that's generally like that moment right there. That was the moment where I started thinking about a story in a laboratory, and it was probably going to be about robots, but I was still thinking maybe it's another creature. But no, yeah, and that was April 2023, I believe. Yeah, that's when I started, and I spent a couple of days thinking about it, and I didn't like it. And I discarded it, and I said, well, I guess I'm not doing a story in a laboratory then. But my wish to make one was still there. it rested until 2024 where I truly had the idea of friendship test. But yeah, I guess the origin is the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. So I guess say thanks to Sonic for being dead. The moment I decided to write a story about aspec space robots, so originally, this is funny, I was not sure if it was going to be in space. One of the first ideas I had about friendship test is that it was going to be on a planet that was already invaded by the programs. And it was like all destroyed and desolated. That was actually the first idea I had for friendship test. I was still thinking, are they in a planet? Are they in a lab in a planet? Or are they in space right now? That was story is vague enough about that. I didn't have to decide which option I wanted until like way later in the story. It's space robots that came out way later. A-spec robots though, that was really early on. It wasn't like I didn't start friendship test by saying I want a story about a loveless robot. That happened really early on, but it wasn't like my objective. Like the first idea I had, was friend program and water bottle. Like just those two characters, like a robot built to kill, but they want to have friends, and a robot that wants to have friends and is good and is kind and is nice, turning quote unquote evil. And they are both in a place where all robots are technically good. And it's like, what do you do if you're a robot that is quote unquote evil, but everybody's good? It's like, it's like you are the underdog there. And it's like, are you really like the evil person in this situation though? And, with that came the metaphors about lovelessness, the metaphors about aplatonicism, the metaphors about being autistic, being neurodivergent. But yeah, all the idea came from in a place where all robots are quote unquote turning good. You are one robot that is not like them, and it's like, what does it mean you're evil? What does it mean that they're good? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's the original idea. And I do also want to ask if there were parts of the story that were particularly hard to write, if there were any major changes in friendship test development, anything unexpected. the as the story of friendship test developed so much over time. I had like such like a basic boring idea for the story at first until I just kept writing more notes like maybe this could happen, maybe we could have a chapter about this. Everything in the game was hard to write. It was hard to I had like so many ideas and I didn't know how to put them together. Like I had the idea of enemy and knight and knife, but like what do I do with these three? And like what does it mean that these three are here? I had the idea of best friend program, but like how do I write a character like best friend program, like making her a villain, but also not making her completely like insanely irredeemable and evil? Like how do I make her complex? But how do you do that? Like how do you do any of this? Nick was 100% the most difficult thing to write in the game. Nick went through so many changes. Something really funny about Nick is that Nick was not going to be as complex and as interesting of a character at first. The first idea I had for Nick was that he was going to be this like very self-absorbed celebrity that was like actually like an evil scientist on the sideline, but like he was still going to be like a very like comedic character. Isn't it funny? Isn't it crazy that was the first idea I had for Nick? And like his name wasn't going to be Nick, it was like super cool scientist or something. Really, really funny. The problem is that I realized, wait, this is actually like making a character that is such a joke, not complex at all in friendship test doesn't feel right to me. Friendship test is all about complexity. Also, like he is the abuser character, and I want that topic to be treated seriously. It was going to be treated seriously. The villain was just going to be like very cartoony, which I think they do that a lot in cartoons. Like when they try to talk about abuse, they make the abuser like so cartoonishly evil. And it's like, I get what you're trying to say, and like I do like seeing, like I think the victim is always better written, but the abuser, like, that's just not how abusers are that's not how abusers are in real life. And yeah, I didn't want to make that mistake myself, so I said, I need to rework on Nick from the start, scratch the whole character and make him again. Nick and Act 6 was so difficult to figure out, but I didn't. So that's good. How was development itself? Was there anything you had trouble with? Anything you would have done differently? Are you planning a similar approach to other entries in development? So, development was really exhausting. It took so much of my time, so much of my strength, mentally, physically. I overworked myself way too much. I should not have done that. If you're wondering how did you make this game in 1 year, the answer is because you you should not be doing that. You should not overwork yourself for a whole year. You should not. You should go out. You should have a life, which I think I didn't for a whole year. I think the only thing I did in this whole year was working on my game, and like, you should not be doing that. It's not healthy. I think realistically, this game would have probably taken me like 2 years and a half, but because I'm unhealthy and I need to work on that, it only took me a year to make. I do not recommend doing what I did. If you're like, oh, if she could do it, I can do it. Well, first of all, you can, but take your time. Don't do what I did. I had trouble. I mean, I had trouble at first understanding. Okay, because I use RPG Maker in Spanish. Variables. I think it's variables. I did not understand variables, and I especially did not understand switches, and I still don't. Every time I tried to use a switch, it just didn't work. So I had to use an absurd amount of variables because that's the one that I actually understood. I don't know what happened with the switches, but they did not work every time that I tried to use one. What I would have done differently is probably the text boxes. In future projects that I have, I plan to do my own text boxes because it's the one thing that bothers me about friendship tests. Is like, the text boxes are just the ones that come with RPG Maker. There's nothing original about them. But I just didn't know how to design a good text box. Every time I thought about one, like, maybe I could, blah blah blah, and it's like, I don't know. I think this text box will make the game look worse. And I decided to just leave the ones with RPG Maker, and I think that they look good for the game. I think it fits the game. But yeah, in future projects, I'm definitely going to design my own text boxes, even if they don't look really good. But they have to be different. They can't be the RPG Maker text boxes. It just bothers me. Cheers, and thank you for making this game. Well, thank you for playing it, and thank you for sending your questions. Do you plan to publish your game on Steam in the future? No, because I found out that if you want to put your game on Steam, you have to pay $100. I looked up how do I put a video game on Steam, and it said you have to pay $100, and I was like, "Excuse me, you have to pay $100?" And I said, "No way. My game is free anyway. Like I will pay $100 for a free video game." And I said, you know what? I think it's fine on itch.io. I think it's fine there. So unfortunately, right now, no, it's not. It's on itch. Like you can find it there. You can download it for free. I think that's completely alright. And I think people are more understandable about flaws in indie video games if they are on itch than if they are on Steam. I think if they're on Steam, people expect the games to be super polished. And my game is not super polished. I mean, I work really hard on it, but like, I'm also really dumb, and the game is not like highly professional. So I would feel really intimidated by Steam. Also, I'm not going to pay $100. What was the decision to make the main characters for the story robots? Was it just for the heck of it, or was there meaning in there from the start? I played Toontown for 4 months, and I recently watched Robot Dreams. So it's not that I came out with a story and decided I'm going to make the characters robot. It's that I said I need a story about robots right now because I'm so hyper fixated on robots that if I don't make a story about robots, I'm going to die. So yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to make a story about robots. Like that was the 100% the intention of Friendship Test since the beginning. Story about robots, and then everything else came after. Did you have any favorite NPCs that weren't part of the main cast? I enjoyed some of the minor characters myself, especially Eric. That was good. We love Eric. Eric is great. So I'm going to. My absolutely favorite NPC, I have said it already, is the evil tech program. No, they're not evil. They're an evil scientist that wants to be really nice. You can be an evil scientist and be really nice. That's my favorite NPC. Also, their friend. I really like their friend. It's my favorite tech program too. I'm looking. Okay, when it comes to test programs, I really like Jade. I really like her design. I really like the idea uh of programs that have different jobs other than tech program test, um, rebooting, all that crap. Like obviously in the city they have other jobs. We don't see them, but they have other jobs, and she's like one of the few we see that she has another job. She designs robots, their armor, their clothes, and I really like her. I also really like the crying emoji program. I really like those two friend programs you meet in Act 5 and they challenge you to a friend competition because I think they're like cool. Like all the other friend programs seem to like be trying too much to be nice and friendly because they're all a little traumatized and they're all trying really hard. Um but those two are like yes, they're calm. They're fine. Like I will get along with those two. I like those two. They're cute. I of course really like the Jester siblings. Of course, I love Jester characters. I love those two a lot. I like their design. I don't know if you have noticed, but Jester is actually the only program that doesn't have black lines. Like their design is exactly like how experiments are drawn. Experiments don't have black lines either. That was an artistic choice. The thing about Jester is that I made a mistake. I realized, oh crap, this is not how you draw a program. The programs are supposed to have the black lines. And I realized too late. I already designed the design, and I love their design. And I tried to put the black outlines, but they just didn't look as good. So I said, you know what? I think it would be funny if this character in particular doesn't have the black outlines because it fits them. They're a little bit of a weirdo, so it fits them. It's not a random program. It's the funny Jester character. Also, I like to believe that maybe they use the emulation software to enhance their design a little bit, and maybe that's why they look so different from the others without the black outlines. But yeah, now when it comes, I of course really like spoilers. I really like the designs of Nick's minions. I especially really like Ben's design. I was really proud of their design. I thought that they look awesome. I really like Ben's design. Now when it comes to the experiments, my absolute favorite one is the ball experiment. I think they're funny. I also like the frog experiment. I think they're funny too. I also like the axolotl or ajolote cat. I do think those are my favorite NPCs. But Eric is really good too. The guy with the little suit. Were you worried about how people would respond to Nick and his actions? Yes. I worry that people will try to justify a lot of Nick's actions. I have seen nobody justify them, which I really appreciate. I'm really happy. It probably is because it's a small game. I feel like if it was a game that everybody knew, there would already be 100% saying that Nick is actually not that bad. And it's like, you're missing the point. The whole point about Nick is that even if he feels love, even if he's traumatized, even if he's going through a lot, it doesn't make any of the things he does okay. And it's a problem a lot of the time when there's an evil character and there is like a reveal of no, but they actually feel love and they're actually doing this evil plan because of love, and the audience is meant to sympathize with the character more. And it's like, oh, you're missing the point so much. Who cares if this character feels love? Who cares? Are we forgetting all the things that they have done? Like, I hate when they do that. So Nick, from the the moment you meet him, he makes sure I'm doing this because of love. I'm doing this because of love, and it hurts me. Like I don't do this because I find it fun. I hate doing this, but I'm doing it because of love and blah blah blah. And like, he's really sympathetic. He's really tragic, but he's a horrible person. Uh, and both things can coexist. But yeah, I was worried that some people will be like, oh, yeah, maybe she's not that bad. Maybe she's not that bad. Thankfully, people that play this game are smart. I playing friendship that actually makes you smart. There has not been anybody that has been saying like Nick did nothing wrong. So thank God. Do you ever feel intimidated by the amount of people who play friendship tests? A little bit. I guess sometimes I worry. Oh, what if a lot of people play it and like, oh, I feel overwhelmed. But at the same time, I think the popularity of the game is pretty modest. Don't get me wrong. It's so many people. Like I can't believe it, and I'm thankful for every single one of them. But Friendship Test is not a game that is like popular. Like not it's the indie game of the moment. So many people are playing it. Everybody's talking about it. No, like a small community of people is talking. Like a lot of people. Okay, like for this number, I hate saying numbers in English. This number of people have downloaded the game. It's crazy, and there are plenty of people talking about it, making fun of. Like, to me, that's a lot. But like in terms of like indie game popularity, the game it's modest. Like it's modest for the average indie game. It's insane for me, basically. Was there cut content, surprise scenes, events, ideas, or other things that they make it into the final iteration of the game? Yeah, I have talked about a few of them. I don't remember every single one. But uh, the one that I do remember the most is that I was going to have a experiment fight with a little ant, and it was going to be funny because the little ant is still really small. And unfortunately, that fight didn't make it into the game, and it makes me sad. I really like. There's actually, I think, a file of the sprite of the ant in the game. The Act 5, the party segment, the murder part of the act was actually going to be a little more interesting. There was going to be like a bit more of mystery put through it. You were actually going to like have to find clues, um, and also try to cover up what friend program, because you think friend program did it, but it turns out they didn't do it. But like, yeah, you're trying to like make it so that friend program didn't do it, and like a lot of programs start dying little by little. It's not just Clover. Like it was going to be a couple of friend programs dying, which is funny in context because it's Boyd just killing a bunch of programs until they get to friend program. Um, but yeah, that made me sad. I had like because I just didn't know how to do it. Um, I wanted to kind of like have like a horror segment because RPG Maker is known for their horror games. So I wanted to have like a little bit. I guess there's some parts of the game that already do that, but like that one was going to be like the big one, like the kind of parody too. And I'm planning to do some sort of RPG horror parody with some other project that I'm working on. It's friendship test unrelated, and it's also not my project that I have of mine of obsolete friends. It's not that one. That one's like genuine horror. It's not parody. Another one that I have working on, and and there is going to be a parody of RPG horror in that one. So I guess it's not lost forever. Favorite jokes in the game. That one dialogue of Pixels and Water Bottle when Pixel says sometimes it's nicer to stay quiet, and then and then she says, "Anyway, I look beautiful here." And Water Bottle doesn't even have like dot dot dot, like ellipses. like the text box is just completely empty, and I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Uh, in fact, Act Two has a lot of funny jokes with water bottle in the library too. Every when somebody asked me my favorite jokes, I was like forget about every joke that makes me laugh because uh my own game makes me laugh, which I think is important. I don't think it makes me like an insane person to say that my game is funny. It's a game with it's a game with jokes that I find funny, and I think that's the most important thing. If other people find them funny, that's awesome. But yeah, it's a game with filled with jokes that make me laugh. There are a lot of jokes I noticed that when people play it, they don't laugh out loud, which is completely fine. But like I do. Um, for example, at the beginning of the game, when game says, uh, yeah, it will be fun or something like that, and fan says, yes, I will be there too. That makes me laugh really hard, but I have seen nobody laugh out loud at that joke except me, and I think that's awesome. That's awesome. That's like my little joke. The joke that I find funny. Yes, I will be there too. Makes me laugh so hard. Anyway, favorite background character. I just talk about some of them, so I think that question is already answered. Which emotes emojis will the characters use when they text? See, that's one that I don't think I can talk about. I think I'm just going to put the pictures of the characters and which emojis they will use. If you ever play Jackbox, which Jackbox games will be the character's favorite? This is a sad answer because I have never played Jackbox because I don't have friends. I have like one friend and we've never played Jackbox. 7. I see that you paid a lot of attention to the music. I want to ask something about that, but I don't know what. Maybe how you went about choosing the music, which tracks are your favorite, or which ones you would consider character themes. Feel free to talk about anything related to that, or just skip the question. I'm not skipping it. Happy birthday, have a good day and good week. Thank you so much. My birthday was terrible, but I'm better now. And thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. And rabbit emoji, always, always, always rabbit emoji. The music was really interesting. Unfortunately, I don't remember the titles of each song. I wish I did. I wish I could literally. Oh yeah, this song with this title. Uh, but yeah, there are characters that have a character theme. Not all of them. Not all of them have. For example, Waterboro doesn't have a character theme. They don't. But like X does, and Clover does. Um, and TNT has a couple of songs for each of them. And there are some songs that I reuse on some scenes because I think it's like thematically like similar. There are certain songs that I really like the music, but I also really like the title of the music, and I actually chose those songs for specific scenes. Uh my favorite one that I was like, oh, we need to put this song in this scene, or scenes. I actually don't remember if I use it in multiple scenes. Um, related to Boyd and Nick. Uh, when Boyd talks to Nick and says, "I know what you be doing, but I forgive you," and all of that, like, and you can still be better. The song title is, I think, it's the things that keep us here, and it's like, oh wow, that's literally Boyd's situation, right? My favorite song of them all was Moonlight. I listened to that song so many times and it caught me every time. And I knew it had to be an important song that it plays 3 times in the game. It plays, including the menu 4 times. It plays in the scene of when you find out about why from program that select TVs. Uh, it plays in the scene where Water Bottle works towards from program without the need of a friendship bridge. It plays when from program starts talking to X about how we are all different and like we need, but we keep going, we help each other, all of that really emotional scene, and it of course plays on the menu, and that's it's my absolutely favorite song in the game. But all of the songs are amazing. This game would be nothing without the music and all the talented people. And honestly, don't be afraid to use free to use music. Like I know some people, I know how my game can come across like, oh, Kevin MacLeod. Kevin MacLeod is here, of course. I know how my game can be a little like some songs like, oh, I heard this song millions of times on a YouTube video. It's like Kevin MacLeod. Yeah, Kevin, you know what? Kevin MacLeod is awesome and we owe him so much. And I'm not afraid to put him in my game. I'm not afraid if you have heard this song a million times and it makes my game look a little cheap. I don't care. You know what? We need to appreciate these artists too. And I'm really happy that their music exists and it's available for people that just don't know how to make music. And no way in hell am I using AI. So go listen to the music of these people. Go support them. I'm glad that my game is able to showcase the music of all of these talented people. Go support them. How do you feel when first coming out and afterwards releasing Friendship Test? Proud because I've always wanted to make a game, especially an RPG Maker game, and I was happy to finally came up with a story that I wanted to tell and a game that I could make like worthy of a game. Like I have stories in mind, but they're never like I don't know how to make a game about this. This was the first one that is like, oh, I can make a game about this. And yeah, after releasing it, I was like, hey, you know what? I did that. I did that. I made a game, and I'm really proud. Do you feel bored for making such a unique story? I wouldn't say bold, but I am. Again, I'm proud. I don't think I'm like, oh, I'm so deep. Nobody else has ever made a story like this. And like, I mean, there is merit to the fact that Friendship Test talks about a topic that basically no piece of media really talks about. Doesn't mean that I'm the first one to talk about Loveless. No, not at all. There are Loveless people that have written Loveless pieces, Loveless stories. Go check them out. So I'm not like the first one, and I'm not like I'm first ever. I'm so deep. I'm so awesome. No, but I am happy because this is a story that is not going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to get it, and it is kind of like daring to like, hey, you know what? I'm going to make this story, even if you don't get it, even if you don't agree, even if you are going to be an asshole to Loveless people. I'm gonna do it. So far I have only received positive feedback, but like at some point there is going to be somebody that is going to say, hey, this is propaganda against love. What is wrong with you, or something like that? And it's like, be mad, get mad. I don't care. I made a story that is important for me and many people. So I guess in some way it is bold. Do you see it as a success? Absolutely. I don't want I don't want this game to be Undertale too. Like I don't want this game. I don't want Friend Program to be on Smash Brothers. I mean, I would love for them to be Smash Brothers, but what I mean is that I don't expect this game to be the most successful game of all time. I just want this game to be what it is. Like a bunch of people play it, a bunch of people like it, a bunch of people talk about it, a bunch of people make fun art, and that's all I wanted. Yeah, it's more than I expected. I thought it was going to be way less people. So it is absolutely a success. I was worried at first that it was going to suck and nobody was going to like it, but no, it is absolutely a success, and this whole year was worth it. If there was anything you could have added, what would it have been? Again, text boxes. I don't like them. I should have fixed those. But it is what it is. I don't want to change them now because I think now it's like part of the game and I wouldn't change them. But like future project, change those text boxes. Finally, how would you feel about others reviewing the game? Awesome. It would be really cool. Seeing reviews or seeing video essays about some thoughts you have about the game. Be it videos or be it written, like doesn't matter. Like I have a couple of reviews on each.io. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but yeah, I have like two or three reviews of the game, and I love reading through them, and they were really nice. So yeah. What was the first major character concept for the game? Well, I have talked about that before. Friend Program and Water Bottle. What are some future projects you're planning to make now that Friendship Test is over? Would you continue doing game dev or move to something else? I have mentioned that I don't have like a specific project in mind. Like in Friendship Test, it's like it was the only thing that I could focus on. I have multiple projects that I'm working on at the same time, and more in a casual way, not in a I have to do this, I have to do this right now, I have to do this, I have to. No, no, no. I'm like, today I'm going to work on this, and next day I'm gonna work on this, and it's kind of what I feel like doing at the moment. I do have goals, like there are certain projects that is like I would like to do this in this certain amount of time. There are 3 projects that I have that are RPG Maker, and I kind of want to like do all the RPG Maker that I can, and then like I'm going to put RPG Maker to rest. The only one that I can really reveal is Obsolete Friends. This one project that I'm working on like very casually from time to time. The other two are a bit of a secret because I'm still like seeing how I'm going to work on them, but I might reveal them soon. But yeah, I those 3 games, but I'm also like thinking about making comics, especially of my OCs. Like I have talked about them, I have drawn them before. I have written some quote unquote pilots, and I would like to make those comics. I might also do some puppetry with the puppets that I have made, specifically Dolly, because I love Dolly. So yeah, those are some of the projects that I'm making, and it's been a lot of fun. Favorite cable? I hate you. I don't know. I forgot every single cable dialogue. I don't know. What is I don't know. You know what? Write your favorite cable dialogue in the comments. Subscribe to my channel and write your favorite cable comment of the game. What is the line portion of dialogue you're most proud of writing? I have talked about it a lot. My favorite scene of the game is the water bottle and friendship, friendship and friend program confrontation in Act 7. That's my favorite scene. I also love the scene of Boyd in Act 6 when they're in the room and they talk about what happened with friend program and they apply it to their new situation, and it just hits really hard. So those. Will friend program like pineapple on pizza? Well, you know what? Pineapple is yellow. So yes. Will there be a Discord server at some point? Nah. Sorry, but not Discord server. Not an official one. Sorry. Thoughts on OCs within the Friendship Test universe? They're awesome and epic, and they're really cute. Love them. Is there anything about any characters that you want to talk about but haven't been able to bring up? Like if X likes fruit or something? Right now I can't think of anything, but from time to time you will see me post about some random fact about a character, so there is that. Are there ideas for characters that will only be seen brought up post game? So far, only one. Water Bottle adopts a cat post game, a cat character that you don't see in the game, and like that's the only one that I can think of. I will post about Water Bottle's kitty soon, but yeah, that's the only one. Do you think Friend Program's journey helps some programs realize they're also loveless? Yes, absolutely. No questions about that. Speaking of FP's journey, do programs see FP as some sort of hero for stopping changing BFP? Yeah, but I don't think they like built a statue of them or anything like that. I also think that even when they're like, "Oh, you're from program, you helped us," they're like, "Yep, bye." So like, I think they kind of read the room and see that from program doesn't really want to be thought as like a hero or something. I think it's more of like a team effort. It's more of a team effort. It's like the rebellion. All of us working together, we were able to achieve this. Can we see some art you haven't shown yet? Honestly, I think most of the concept art I have shown it, and like yeah, if there is anything more, I will post it. Is there anything you wish people notice in friendship tests that, as far as you're aware, they haven't noticed brought up yet? No, I think people have pretty much noticed it all. Thank you for being obsessed with friendship tests. That means a lot, generally. Why did you decide to make a game about aplatonicism? Well, because there is practically no aplatonic representation in anything, and like that is one of the points of the game. Like it's about media consumption. It's about media and what is represented in media, and the story only makes sense in the context that there is no platonic media, and like the game talks about that. Like it's obviously not just media, it's also real life. Like not all aspec issues are just online things and TV representation. It's real issues too, but like they go together, you know. Like it's like the lack of representation also is talks about like the issues in real life about how we are invisible and like we're demonized and things like that. But I have talked about already about like the original idea I had and how it developed into a story about lovelessness and aplatonicism and all of that. So yeah, did you always intend the game to center around it and around the system? I already answered. The first idea I had was basic, but like super early on, I decided to make the game about lovelessness and all of that. Super early on, it developed with time. Like at first the game was going to be more subtextual until the ending of the game, where it makes it clear that that this is a game about lovelessness and aplatonicism and all of that. However, thankfully, I decided to change that, and the game hits you with the message since Act 2. And I'm really glad I made that change in the story. I thought it would be ridiculous to keep it all subtextual, and it was so important that Frame Program openly talks about it. The whole game is about talking about this. It's not to keep it subtextual. So yeah, even if it was always the theme, at the beginning it wasn't going to be like we talk about it over and over. It was going to be until the end, which is insane, and I'm glad I made that change. How did you come up with the game's name? Well, at first, this game was just a test game. Like, I was going to have a couple of rooms, and maybe the game was going to be 3 hours long. It was a test game, so I thought, okay, and what's the premise of the game? Robot, in like friendship, all of that. Okay, friendship test. That's cute. That's a cute name. Then friendship test. Then the game developed into what it is, and friendship test has a lot of different meanings because it's the origin of me testing a game. That's the first one. The second one is when it's the friendship test that are all around the lab. The third meaning is the reveal of there was a test of the all organisms for water bottle and from program that was called the friendship test. And the last meaning is also the fact that it's a ship, so it's friendship test. So many meanings for one name. I really like when a title of something has like a lot of different meanings, and it's not just it's because of this one scene. Actually, it's like no, it's for many things. How do you come up with the cat's name? Regular objects. I thought it was going to be the easiest thing. Frame Program, the idea of robots being called programs really early on, and I thought simply Frame Program worked. Enemy, energy, Emmy, really cute. I really like that, similar, but, same character, similar sounding words, similar sounding names. But anyway, those are all of the questions. Thank you so much for sending your questions. Thank you so much for playing this game. Thank you so much for caring about this game. And it has meant a lot to me. And I can't wait to see this game grow more and more. It doesn't have to be too big, but yeah, I think what we have so far is really good, and I am really happy. And thank you so much. I don't know how to thank all of you, but thank you so much. And I will keep posting about friendship tests. I will make little posts, little comics. And yeah, we'll see how the future of friendship tests is like, and we'll see it together. But seriously, thank you so much, and see you next time.